It is clearly madness, in my view, to allow for a situation where a person need only make it across the border, have a baby, and their baby is a citizen on technicality. It imbues this kind of like weird supernatural power on the physical land itself. It seems like something from ancient times, where if you are born on this land, you are a part of the land. You belong to the land because you were born here. This is strikingly old-fashioned and impractical for us now. And liberals are usually the ones complaining about old-fashioned, impractical things. Well, here this really is. So it should be changed. There's a test that I like to apply. I call it the cave test. Especially when we're evaluating laws and legal principles and those sorts of things. Try to imagine that we've just emerged from a cave and we've never heard of this idea before. Totally foreign to us. And then someone suggests it or asks us about it. Like, hey, what do you think about this? What would our reaction be? Now, I know that this test doesn't always work, but the point is that there are a lot of things in the country, a lot of laws, a lot of policies that we kind of accept because it's always been that way and it's just how it is. And we were born into that system, and so we don't really question it. So I think it helps sometimes to just imagine how we would react if we had never heard of it before and someone brought it up. I always do this with Social Security. Imagine Social Security did not exist. The system didn't exist. There was no thought of the system. And then one day a politician got up there and suggested it and said, hey, I've got an idea. Here's an idea. How about the government takes money from your paycheck every single week, keeps it, and holds on to it for decades, and will actually use it. And when I say holds on to it, actually does not hold on to it at all, but takes it and uses it for other things. And then once you get older, they'll start paying it back to you in small chunks without interest. Now, if someone suggested that system to you, and we had never heard of it, I think almost everyone in the country would say, no, that's crazy. What? No, I don't want that. Why in the world would I? No, thank you. I'll just take my money and put it in a savings account and keep interest, and then I'll take it out when I want. Thank you very much. That's a crazy system. That makes no sense. But we only tolerate it because from our perspective, it's always been that way. I think birthright citizenship is kind of the same thing. We're used to the idea of anchor babies, but imagine that this concept didn't exist. And then someone suggested it. They said, I've got an idea. How about this? If you are a citizen of any other country on the globe and you're pregnant, all you have to do is get across the border somehow. You can illegally works, okay? You can do it illegally, sneak across, have the baby, and your whole family gets to stay. I think if someone suggested that policy and it never existed before, almost everyone would say, yeah, I don't know about that. There's some problems there. Not to mention, let's think about this. What happens when someone comes from another country and they have a child here? What often happens? Are they told by their parents, you're an American, you're part of this culture, this people, this is your identity? Is that what they're told? No. It's not always, but often it's not. So often it seems like immigrant families, they come here, they retain their own culture, their own national identity and loyalty. They speak their own languages at home. They even set up their own communities where they rebuild the home country in these little small microcosms. And that's what they do. My point is that they want their children to be conferred the benefits of citizenship, but they don't want their children to really actually identify as or see themselves as Americans. Now, I know that's a generality. Like I said, it's not the case in every case, but it is often the case. So that's why I don't like birthright citizenship. I think it's impractical. It's arbitrary. It's not accompanied by assimilation, which I think is a really important point here. And this is the problem with immigration in general these days, legal and illegal. Immigration has become a very one-sided thing, it seems like. The immigrant gets the benefits of citizenship, but does not necessarily make any effort to assimilate, any effort to be a part of the country. And what's more, he's coming into a country that's already been established, already been built. And that's the difference between the new immigrants and the immigrants of the 19th century and even the early 20th century. And that's why these comparisons don't hold up. When people try to draw these comparisons and say, well, how dare you have this feeling of immigration? Your family came here at some point as well. Your family was immigrants. Well, that's true, but it was a very different thing. Immigrants back in the old days, they were coming here and they were taking part in the project of building and establishing this country. They came to a work in progress is the point. The modern immigrant does not. He comes into an already built structure, hoping to benefit from the shelter that it provides him, which if that's done legally, that's fine. It's understandable. I would want to do that too if I didn't live here. But it's also why I think we need to take a different approach to modern immigration and think of it differently, because it's an entirely different situation.